All right, we are recording now, and we are back this week after being out last week for spring break. I hope everybody had a good spring break. I saw pictures of some of the things you did, and it looked like a lot of fun. But we're back tonight, and we're going to finish up what we've been talking about Jesus is strong. But first, we'll sing a couple of songs, and then I will tell you that it is okay for you to unmute. So, first song we're going to sing is My God Is So Big. I'm going to back up so you can see the motions, and I want to see you doing the motions with me. And I can't hear you, but hopefully your parents can hear you. Are you ready? My God is so big, so strong and so mighty. There's nothing my God cannot do. My God is so big, so strong and so mighty. There's nothing my God cannot do. The mountains are his, the valleys are his, the trees are his handiwork too. My God is so big, so strong and so mighty. There's nothing my God cannot do for you. Good job. I saw those motions. All right, let's do the Sea of Galilee. Our lesson tonight's not on the Sea of Galilee, but we like to sing that song. So some of our other stories have been. Get your fingers warmed up. I'm going to go a little bit slow so everybody can get their motions in, and then we'll do it real fast at the end. There's a Sea of Galilee. There's a Sea of Galilee. There's a sea. There's a sea. There's a Sea of Galilee. There's a boat on the Sea of Galilee. There's a boat on the Sea of Galilee. There's a boat. There's a boat. There's a boat on the Sea of Galilee. There are men in the boat on the Sea of Galilee. There are men in the boat on the Sea of Galilee. There are men. There are men. There are men in the boat on the Sea of Galilee. There are hands on the men in the boat on the Sea of Galilee. There are hands on the men in the boat on the Sea of Galilee. There are hands. There are hands. There are hands in the men in the boat on the Sea of Galilee. There are nets in the hands of the men in the boat on the Sea of Galilee. There are nets in the hands of the men in the boat on the Sea of Galilee. There are nets. There are nets. There are nets in the hands of the men in the boat on the Sea of Galilee. There are fish in the nets in the hands of the men in the boat on the Sea of Galilee. There are fish in the nets in the hands of the men in the boat on the Sea of Galilee. There are fish. There are fish. There are fish in the nets in the hands of the men in the boat on the Sea of Galilee. Okay, take a deep breath. We're going to go fast. There are fish in the nets in the hands of the men in the boat in the Sea of Galilee. There are fish in the nets in the hands of the men in the boat in the Sea of Galilee. There are fish. There are fish. There are fish in the nets in the hands of the men in the boat in the Sea of Galilee. Good job. Miss Tanya about messed up right there at the end and got her motions out of order. Okay, you guys can unmute now if you want to so that you can answer questions and help me with our story time. Just remember to be quiet when you're not the one answering so that everybody can hear. We have been talking about Jesus's power. We've got our big power verse here in the middle of our bulletin board. It talks about how strong he was and how he could do things that nobody else could. And where did Jesus get all that power? Does anybody know?
God.
That's right, God. He had the same power that God had. And so he could do things that normal people couldn't do. And we've had several lessons about that. Remember to be quiet. Who can tell me about this story? It looks like they got some food or something. Who knows what Jesus did in that story? Does anybody remember?
Share the food.
made more food, didn't he? There were a lot of people that had come to listen to him, and he needed more food. And so he thanked God for the food, and he started dividing it and fed all those people. That was a miracle, not a magic trick, a miracle. And that's what Jesus can do, is miracles. So then we talked about these two in the same week. Who can tell me what's going on in this picture? These men look afraid. Does anybody know? They were out on the boat, and there came a big, big storm, and they were very afraid. And Jesus was doing what? Who knows what Jesus was doing? Lydia?
Sleeping.
He was sleeping. That's right. Jesus was asleep, and they woke him up and said, Master, Master, we're going to die. And he said, oh, no. Don't you know I can take care of you? And then what did he do? He talked to something.
The storm.
Talked to the storm. He talked to the winds and the waves, and he said, be still. And what happened? Just like that. Everything was still and quiet.
It stopped.
It stopped. That's right, Lydia. It stopped. And then in this picture, it looks like it might have been a little bit stormy again, but Jesus is not in the boat. What is Jesus doing?
He's walking on the water.
He's walking on the water. Can you walk on the water?
No.
No. But Jesus could, because he could do miracles.
I could actually walk on the water.
You can actually walk on the water? If it's really, really light, a little bit of water, I could, because my foot would actually be on the ground. But just on top of the big water, I can't do that. Somebody got out of the boat to walk on the water with Jesus. Does anybody remember who that was?
John.
Who? John, not John.
Peter.
Peter, that's right. John would have been in the boat, but he didn't get out. It was Peter. And when Peter started thinking about what he was doing, what happened?
He sunk.
He started to sink. And who saved him?
Jesus.
Jesus reached out his hand and pulled him back up and said, oh, Peter, just believe. Have faith in me that I can take care of you. Okay, and then 2 weeks ago, before we went on spring break, we talked about this miracle. Can anybody tell me what happened in that miracle, what Jesus did? It looks like there's a mom and maybe her son, a boy. Does anybody remember what happened to that boy?
No.
No. He had died, remember? And she was so very sad. And Jesus had compassion, which means he cared about how she was feeling, and he wanted to make it better. And so what did he do to make it better? He made that boy be alive again. He brought that boy back to life. That is an amazing miracle. So tonight we're going to talk about one more miracle, and then next week we'll start talking about some other things. But our last miracle tonight is about this man.
No, you're kicking me.
Need you to listen. This man's name was Bartimaeus, and he had a problem because he couldn't see. His eyes did not work. He was blind. And back then, when you were blind, you couldn't work. You couldn't do the things normal people did. And so he just had to beg and sit by the road and ask people for the things that he needed. And that's what he was doing when this story started. And Jesus and his followers were traveling. They were going from Jericho to Jerusalem. And they were walking along the road, and there were a lot of people with Jesus, because that's what happened when Jesus went places. Lots of people followed him. And so Bartimaeus heard the crowd coming, and he figured out who it was. He figured out it was Jesus. And he was like, oh, I need to get close to him. And so he started shouting. He started saying, Son of David, have mercy on me. And the people who were around him wanted him to be quiet. They didn't want to disturb Jesus. They were like, shh, shh, don't say that so loud. But Bartimaeus did not listen to them. He just got louder and louder, and he said, Son of David, Jesus, have mercy on me. And he just kept saying that. And then an amazing thing happened, because Jesus heard him, and he said, who is that calling my name? And the people said, oh, it's Bartimaeus. And he said, well, bring him to me. And so they brought Bartimaeus to him. Bartimaeus jumped up from his mat and just left his jacket and everything lying right there. He wasn't worried about that. And he went to Jesus. And Jesus said, what do you want me to do for you? And Bartimaeus said, I want to see. And so Jesus, just like that, said, your faith has made you whole, and you can see again. And you know what happened?
Right.
Just like that. He could see. He could see Jesus. He could see the people. He could see the trees. He could see everything. Now, if you had not been able to see with your eyes, and suddenly you could see with your eyes, what do you think you would do? Think he would run home and tell his family? Maybe have a party and celebrate with all his friends? There would be lots of things he could do, but that's not what Bartimaeus did. Because Bartimaeus not only could see Jesus with his eyes, but even before Jesus healed him, Bartimaeus could see Jesus with his heart. He knew who Jesus was, and he had faith and believed in Jesus. And so he did not go home. He stayed with Jesus and became one of Jesus' followers, just like we want to be Jesus's followers. So do you think it was more important or better that Bartimaeus could see Jesus with his eyes or with his heart?
His heart.
With his heart, that's right. Even when his eyes were not working like they should, he could still see Jesus with his heart. And we want to be able to see Jesus with our heart. We want to be followers and do what Jesus wants us to do. In fact, I wish Griffin was with us tonight, because if you guys know Griffin's eyes don't work right. Griffin cannot see. He can't see with his eyes, but you know what Griffin can see with?
His heart.
His heart. That's right. Griffin can see with his heart, just like Bartimaeus could, and just like all of us want to do, to see Jesus with our heart. Okay, so I'm going to put this picture. Does he look happy in that picture?
Yes.
He does. I bet he was very, very happy after Jesus made him be able to see. I'm going to put it on our bulletin board right up here. And now our bulletin board is full of all kinds of things that Jesus did that showed his power. But you know what? That's not all the stories about Jesus' power. There are lots more stories in the Bible where Jesus did things to show his power and to help people. And your mom and dad can help read some of those stories to you, and you can learn even more about the miracles that Jesus did. This is just how many we had time for in our Zoom class. All right, let's do our Bible verse real quick, and then we'll talk about what all is in your packet for you to work on. So this is the same Bible verse we've been doing, and you guys probably know it without me even helping you. But I'll say it, and you say it after me, okay? It says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father
No one comes to the Father
except through me.
except through me.
That's right. So we want to be followers of Jesus, because that's how we get to be back with God. Jesus came to fix that big disaster that we talked about way back last fall. And he is the way that we get to be with God. Good job. You guys have been listening so well. All right, let's talk about what's in your packets tonight. Worksheet, and I've seen some of you already working on it. Shows a picture of Jesus, and he's healing the blind man and making him be able to see. But there's things in this picture besides Jesus and the blind man. There's lots of circles and triangles and squares and rectangles. And you can use your eyes and see how many you can find of those different things in there. I don't even know how many there are, but there's a lot. So that's kind of a fun activity.
Okay, wait.
And then your craft for tonight, I think I saw somebody that had these already, are some fun little glasses. And I don't know if they already had the sides on them or not, but if they don't, you just tape those sides on them, and then you can put those on. Tanya can figure out how to do it. And oh my, I can't see anything. But what happens if I raise these up like that, then I can see. And that's to help us remember about how Jesus made Bartimaeus be able to see. There's also some little questions in your parent guide that you can play a little game with your glasses after you make them. And you can get mom or dad or a big brother or sister to read these little statements. And if it talks about Jesus in the statement, then you want to open your eyes so you can see Jesus. But if it talks about something that might be important, but it's not about Jesus, then you'll close them. So it's just a fun little game you can play to go with your craft tonight. Again, for your snack, this is a fun one. You should have a little package, I had it upside down, a little package of Oreos. And inside your package of Oreos, there should be 2 cookies. Now, what did we talk about tonight that there would have been 2 of? Anybody know? That's a tricky question.
Jesus and the blind man.
Jesus and the blind man, that would be two people. But what did Bartimaeus have?
2 eyes.
2 eyes. And look, my cookies are covered up and you would not be able to see. But if you take your cookie and you twist the top off, which is my favorite way to eat Oreos anyway, that would be like opening his eyes. And then you should have some Skittles, different colors, and you can put one, oops, I just broke my cookie. That was not good. You can put a Skittle right in the middle. Ooh, that rhymed. And then it kind of looks like an eye, doesn't it? Because it's got the color in the middle, just like your eyes do. And then you know what you can do?
What?
You can eat it up. So you can open the cookie's eyes, and you can put the color in the middle, and then you can eat it up and have a yummy snack. Make sure mom says it's okay, and make sure you've already had your dinner. And so that's what's in our activities for tonight. So you can have fun with those things and learn about the different things that Jesus has done to show his power and how strong he is.
Tana, I ate my dinner.
Say that again.
I ate my dinner.
You already ate your snack? Well, that's okay. That's okay. Usually I'll tell you a little bit about your snack so you'll know how it goes with the story. But if you already ate it, that's fine too.
I did. Where's my dinner?
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Well, first, let me tell you first, the packets for next month will be out in the at the church building on Sunday, so you can pick those up. I'm getting ready to go put all the snacks in them. So that all the snacks will be there for you. We have some fun snacks next month, and we'll be talking about some different things about Jesus. So make sure mom or dad know that you need to pick up your packet on Sunday. If you can't get it on Sunday, just get in touch with somebody and let us know, and we'll make sure you get it, because next Wednesday night when we have our Zoom class, you're going to need that packet. So you'll have all the fun things that go with your lesson. All right, so I'm going to count to 3, and we will say goodbye to all the boys and girls that might be watching online. We're missing some people tonight, so I hope they're watching online after we get done. And then I'll make my screen little again so I can make sure I saw everybody. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Bye. See you next time.
See you next time. See you next time. See you next time.